Hello, everybody. Morning. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of July, 2020. This is our 8 a.m. movement snack, our mobility and circulation booster. Loved Kelsey's bow yesterday. I've just gone for my cap again, and it's only because my hair's an absolute mess at the moment. I need to sort it out, but just haven't had time, so I will do. Say hi when you come on board. Let us know where you are. Hi, Bob. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Hopefully things are good with you and everybody. Soaking wet here. Chucked it down all night. 2 cats we have here in Coventry. One cat always comes in bone dry, regardless of what the weather's doing. The other cat comes in like a drowned rat. So spent 5 minutes or so chasing her around the house trying to dry her off because she looked absolutely so sorry for herself. Completely soaked. Don't know how she does it. I think she just stands in it. It's rainy here. Grey sky. Looks as though we're going to get rain. It chucked it down in the night. Looks as though we're going to get more rain again. Overcast again for you, Bob, but the washing's still on the line. Good. Glad to hear it. You've got to take every opportunity to get the washing done, haven't you? So this is our 8 a.m. movement snack, our first chance to put additional movement minutes into our benefits bag. I was going to wear a different pair of test card socks for you today, but then I remembered that I'd got something else. So that was the socks I was going to wear, look. I'll wear those later in the week. Another pair of test card socks. But I remembered I've got something else, so there's a little surprise in there for you. Good morning, Wendy from Shrewsbury. Rainy but green. Yeah, there's a bit of a freshness about everywhere when there's a bit of a rain cloud, isn't there? A bit of a rainstorm. We get a bit of freshness in the air. It's good to know. So, let me know how you are. Let me know what you've been up to. Are you ready for today? Are you ready to add these first set of additional movement minutes in? Remember, it's all about thinking about how our body moves, focusing on movements that we do every day, really. A lot of the stuff that we do every day in our everyday life, but we never actually think about it. So it's a lot about thinking about the movement. How does it feel? What's working? What's supporting? What's moving? And how can we make that better? How can we get more out of it? There we go. Morning, Di, in from Somerset. Finishing your cup of tea, ready to get moving. Having a clue what the weather will do? No, I don't think any of us really have a clue what the weather's going to do most of the time, do we? It's one of those. Good morning, Bristol. Good morning, Francis. Good to have you with us. Hi, George. Sunny in Cruton Bay. That's good to know. I woke up before the alarm went off this morning, so did muscle clenches and also ankle stretches while lying in bed. That's a good one to go for. Hi, Catherine. Good to have you with us. Hello. Hope you're doing all right. Good to see Catherine in for the morning. Let us know how you're getting on. And remember, we always enjoy your feedback as well. So if you're watching this on catch up, you can scoot back, find the one that you want, and then join us on catch up later. But even if you are watching it on catch up, we still like to hear your comments. It's good to know that people are catching up. So drop us a comment. Let us know how it was for you. Morning, Maddie. Raining and sunny where you are. Good morning, Christine. Christine P. In from Llanelli, I think I've got that right. And good morning to Clive in from Mid Wales as well. Hi, Dawn. Saw you snuck in then. Good morning, Dawn. Hope you're okay. On this Wednesday morning, Wednesday the 8th of July, 2020. Where has it gone, eh? We're in week 16. Hi, Kathy. Good to have you with us as well. It's coming around to 8 o'clock, so we'll get ourselves ready to go. Day of DIY for me yesterday. A disappointing day of DIY. I got everything done. Got to the point where I went to install. I got a vanity unit with a sink that goes on top, and the sink fills the whole of it. Popped the taps in, popped the waste in, popped it on top of the unit, and it's asymmetrical. So the back is higher. It's been cast wrong, I think. There's something definitely wrong. So that's got to go back today and get a new one so I can carry on. So a bit disappointing, but never mind. Hey, we'll get there. Wet and windy in Llanbrynmawr. Staying in all day. I don't blame you, Trevor. Hopefully it's nothing to do with the cricket. I've got a test match starting today. Is that right? He says as if he knows what he's talking about. Good morning, Sheila. Collective are in. Raining in Wisbeach. That's not good. Now, going back to me bathroom. Yesterday, Bex called me DIY Dave. I've been called loads of things. Davey Spice. DIY Dave. So I've got my pencil with me today. There we go. Look, I'm ready for me DIY. I won't keep it in though. Don't worry. It's just a look. As I said to you, if you came in first, we were going to go with another pair of test card socks, but we're not. Good morning, Adil, in from Cambridge. Patience with for the DIY. Yes, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's just one of those things I thought, right, I'm getting right to the very end of this, then I can start doing the aesthetic bits. And, you know, hey, what can you do? That was 7 o'clock at night, so I couldn't do anything about it. Good morning, Margaret and Bob, England and West Indies. Good to know. Right, we're getting around to 8 o'clock, so let's get ourselves ready to go. Quick hello to Vivian, quick hello to Margaret, who in from Chesterfield and Bolton. Other way around though. So Margaret from Chesterfield, Vivian from Bolton. If you want to get rid of the comments, then swipe them across to the right, and that will get rid of those, and then you can see everything. If you want to keep the comments there, then you'll have inputs coming in from Bob and Dawn, and I'm sure we'll have some coming in from Catherine as well. Feel free to add some comments in as you go along. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of July, 2020, week 16, and this is our 8 a.m. movement snack, our first opportunity to put additional movements minutes into our benefits bag. We're going to have a little bit of a circulation booster firstly, and then we'll do some mobilization with some circulation boosting in between it. But before we do anything, we need to do two things. One, we need to decide whether we're going to do it in a standing or a seated position. And two, we need to set our posture. Now, I've got a pair of socks for you today. I was going to wear those, but I suddenly remembered I've got a different pair of socks. So I've dug those out for you, so you can wait to see these ones, okay? Now, just a little pointer for you. I have a towel on the floor, and that's purely so that you can see my feet, because the rug is quite busy. So don't do this at home. I've only got this so you can see my feet. As you can see, we sometimes get little creases in it, so we don't want to cause any trip hazards. Yeah, so don't do this at home. This is purely so you can see my feet. Right, posture in our standing position. Heels are in line with our knees are in line with our hips. Grow an inch by lifting taller. So grow an inch between your ribs and your hips. Shoulders come up. We roll them back. Bring the shoulder blades together and press the shoulders down. Lengthen through your neck so you're standing tall. From there, let's go into our circulation booster. So we've got a foot pedal to start off with, lifting the heel off the floor, coming onto the balls of the feet and onto the toes as well. There's a crease just behind the toes as we lift the heel off and press down into the floor. Now, sideways on, they look like just plain socks, didn't they? But look at that. Okay? Anyone who knows me knows I'm a Disney fan. So a bit of Tigger for a Wednesday morning. So there we go. That's our push through from there. If you feel comfortable with it, you can do this in your seated position as well. If you feel comfortable with it, take it into a march. So we lift the foot off the floor, point the toes at the floor, and then come through onto the ball of the foot and through to our heels. So think about ankle, feet and toes. Now, in our seated position, we're in the front third of the chair, sitting tall, lifting that extra inch through here, neck lengthened, shoulders back and pressed down. You have your foot pedal here. You can also take it for the march. However, that's quite a big move into these hip flexors. So if you prefer to stay with the foot pedal, you can, or you also have an option of a little toe tap in front. So you've got that movement into the legs, but a little less activity going on into the hip flexor. Obviously the hip flexor is working in our standing position, so we're getting that movement, but it's not as exaggerated because we're standing up. Okay, let's add an arm in, and the arm movement comes from our shoulder. So roughly 90 degrees as far as your elbow is concerned, and we're driving the arm back, mobilizing through our shoulder. Now in our standing position, we've got our external support. So if you need to utilize your support, please do. And every now and again, take a pause, as many steps as you need to change to have your support on the other side, and away you go again with that march. If you feel steady and stable, then let's add both arms in a standing position and both arms in a seated position. But remember, utilize your support if you don't feel steady and stable and in standing, okay? In our seated position, we've got that going ahead as well. An option for you here, a bit of a canoe motion. So bringing the fingertips together, pulling back and driving that elbow down through the side of the body, and again focusing on that shoulder movement. So have a look at the shoulder movement. We drive back, so we isolate, and we don't isolate, but we mobilize into this shoulder here. I went into a bit of a locomotion then, didn't I? So that's part of our circulation booster. Now our circulation booster is all about exactly what it says on the tin. Getting the circulation boosted, getting the blood around the body, warming the joints, warming the muscle, getting the oxygen around. Because we've taken our shoulders back and down, we've opened our rib cage. So bigger chance for us to get more oxygen in, really expand through those lungs. We want about a minute or 2 minutes of this. Have a pause, and we should feel as though we want to take a deep breath or a couple of deep breaths, but we shouldn't feel out of breath. Okay, let's go into our first movement then. So we're going to come into our head. Now, if you're in a standing position, utilize your support. Movements in the head can challenge our balance, or bring yourself into a seated position. If you're going to come to a seated position from standing, feel the chair behind you, lower yourself down with control, and hip walk into the front third of the chair. From here, the movement is a turn of the head, keeping the eye line level, little pause in the centre, and then the other way. So, as I say, if you are in standing, utilise your support. Bit of a closer look for you here, okay? So, we've got turn, little pause, turn, okay? That turn is controlled. And a little pause just to reset in the middle before we go the other way. And as I say, because we're moving our head, it can challenge our balance. Keep your eye line level. So as you turn, don't look up, don't look down, just keep your eye line level. 3, 4 or 5 of those on each side. When you've done that, let's come into our shoulders. So first movement, we're going to lift the shoulder up towards the ears and lower. Lift and lower. Controlled movement again. If you have any asymmetry, so if one is a bit more mobile than the other, then you may want to focus a little bit more on the one that you want to mobilize more. You want to get more range of movement out. But do make sure that you do both. In our seated position, exactly the same movement. Just lift and lower, and take it to where it's comfortable for you. So we're all going to have different ranges of motion. We may not all be able to get it up that high. It might be a little movement to start off with, but the more we mobilize it, the better we'll be, and the more motion we'll see within there. So we'll increase our range of motion. 3, 4 or 5, and if you're splitting it between sides, 3, 4 or 5 on each side, may want to do a couple more on the side that there's less motion in, to really focus into it. From there, we're going to take, excuse me, into a roll. So let me come sideways on so you can see this movement. I'm going to bring the shoulders forward firstly, lift them up, roll them back past my ears, bring the shoulder blades together and press down. Yeah? So we come forward, up, shoulder blades together and press those shoulders down. Again, any asymmetry, you may want to focus on the one side, and the movement is exactly the same in a seated position. 3, 4 or 5 of those again. But as you do this, really feel that mobilization within there and think about that movement. So focus on the lift the roll back, shoulder blades together, and the press down. Starts with this forward motion, the lift, the roll back, shoulder blades together, and press down. Yeah, 3, 4, or 5 of those is what we want, and then we'll move on from there into our neck and chin. So with our neck and chin, what we're going to do is a little chin tuck. All right, so I'm going to come down here so you can see from the side. So here I am. Use my fingers as a guide. What we're going to do is give ourselves a little lockdown chin. So eye line is going to stay to the front, stay where it is. And we're going to come back and forward, okay? So my back isn't moving, it's just that chin. And I can either ease it back with the fingers, or sometimes this is a good one to actually leave the fingers where they are and take it back and forward. That way you can ascertain if that's getting more mobile for you. What we're aiming to do is just at the back here, at the top of our spine, you can feel a little bump there. And as we come back, that should start to flatten out a bit. Really important to keep your eye line level. So you're not taking the head back and up, you're just literally tucking it back, straightening out down through the back, and giving yourself that little double chin, or in my case, a triple chin. Hey, it's locked down. Too many cakes. Excellent. 3, 4, or 5 of those. When you've done that, come back in for a little march or a foot pedal and put those arms or one arm in, utilising your support if you need to. In your chair, you've either got your foot pedals, your march, or your toe taps. Put some arms in as well though, so we've got some movement around the body. We just boost the circulation a little bit more before we go on to our next movement. So, top trio is done. We're coming down into the trunk now, all right? So, if you're in a standing position, wider stance, just outside your hips, probably in line with your shoulders. Our movement is going to be a trunk twist. So, from here, what I'm going to do is turn to look to the side, but take the whole of the upper body with me. Have a look at the hips. They stay still. And that will be the thing that sets your range of motion, the fact that you can't move your hips. A couple of options here for you. In a standing position, if you're utilising your support, hand on the support, turn into it, and back. 3, 4, or 5 on one side, change to the other. The other option for you here is to place yourself against the wall and turn. Now, this is a good option for understanding and feeling that your hips aren't moving, but also in a seated position, if we're down here in our seated position, then the bottom is in contact with the floor. Not the floor, sorry, the seat. We're sitting tall and we can feel that the buttocks are staying in line with the seat and staying in contact with the seat. So as we turn, if you feel the bottom lifting at all, you know there's a little bit of hip movement in there, and we don't want that. So keep the weight even across both of the sitting bones. Hands wherever you want to do them really, but I find this quite useful. It gives me an idea of where I'm going, yeah? But you could also put them in front. Choice is yours, it's what you feel comfortable with. Control the speed, so it's not a fast movement, it's a controlled movement. And really focus on locking these hips. So feel that movement through here, that mobilization. And our trunk is something we use continually through the day as well. So if we're reaching to grab something, we're going to come across this way. We may turn. If we put our seatbelt on, we've got to turn there. Trunk is involved in it. But it's also a critical part of our balance, yeah? So the trunk tends to be working all of the time with all the movements that we're doing. Just standing, the trunk is doing some work to help stabilize the body, and is a supporting part continually through our day. 3, 4, or 5 of those on each side, and then we move on to a bend. So wide width again, if we're going to do it in a standing position. Let me show you front way first, then I'll give you the options. So down and up, and we're just taking it to where we feel comfortable. Little pause in the middle to reset. Down again. All the time, remember your posture is tall. In our standing position, here, come in towards your support, let the hand come up, and it's a straight down, straight up motion, look. So with this one, you're going to do 2, 3, 4 or 5 on one side, change to the other with as many steps as you need, and change to the other side. In our seated position, again, this is a good one to do in a seated position. We can use the chair leg to come down and back up. The thing is, it's a straight down and a straight up movement. So whether you're standing or seated, if you're standing, try and use the seam of your trousers. And then that's a good guide of how far did you go and are we seeing improvement? Did I get closer to my knee than previously? If you're in your chair, then the chair legs are a good indication as well. How far down the chair leg did I get? But again, bottom is staying in contact with it. So we're not lifting across like this. We're anchored either onto the floor or onto the chair, and it's that trunk that's doing the movement. So we're extending on one side, shortening on the other. 3, 4 or 5 of those each side, and then take a pause. Okay, our last one with our trunk trio. So let me just pull my t-shirt in a bit so you can see I'm a baggy t-shirt wearer. All right, so eye line staying to the front again, and we're going to come back with this upper back, so we're going to extend. So hips stay where they are. We're going to avoid tipping the pelvis. So I'm not going to come forward like this. Standing tall, we're going to take the back, and forward. So there's a little arch in there, but it's a controlled arch, yeah? We're not letting it come this way. So the hips are staying where they are. They're not coming back here as we come in. They're locked. And again, good one for this is if you've got something you can lean against that is a space behind it. So I have my fireplace here, it's got a little bit of space. I've got a bit of movement there. But a kitchen work surface would be great. So you've got the anchor here, you can feel your hips against it, you can feel your pelvis against it, and you can do your backward extension. In our chair, I'll turn it sideways for you so you can see. Again, in our chair, we can feel through our sitting bones that we're not moving the pelvis. Eye line is to the front. So as you come back, don't look up. Keep the eye line where it is and come back. So you achieve that extension through the back. Okay. 3, 4 or 5 of those. Choice is yours, and when you've done those, come back in for a little circulation booster. We're almost there, folks. We were a couple of minutes late starting today. I do apologise. Again, utilise your support if you need to, and sit down if you need to as far as this is concerned. So we've done our top trio, we've done our trunk trio, yeah? All of them used continually throughout the day with everything that we do. Reaching to pick things up, turning to put things on, like our seat belt on, yeah, moving our head, and we do everything all together. We don't isolate it. So this is a good opportunity to isolate that move and really think and feel that mobility. Last one, into our ankles. Now, our ankle, feet and toes are really important as far as our balance is concerned. So, support here if I have it. Have a look the first couple of times. I'm going to lift and put the toe on the floor, and then from there I'm going to lift and put the heel in the same place. Yeah? So it's a toe and heel. Let me move my other foot out the way a little bit so you can see. So toe and heel. Yeah? From the front, look, you can see toe there. I lift and put the heel in the same place. In our seated position, bring the feet a little bit forward from where they normally are. So they're just in forward of the knee. So you've got that range of motion to be able to lift, toe down, lift and heel in the same place. Yeah? All the time, sitting tall, keeping that extra inch between our ribs and our hips. Another option for you here, sit yourself back in the chair. So hip walk back in the chair, take the leg out, don't lock the knee out, extend the leg, point the toes away, bring them in towards the shin, point away and in towards the shin. 3, 4 or 5 on either side, and you choose which is the most comfortable for you, and also where you can get that best range of motion. Make sure you don't lock the knee out. So if you start to feel that it's becoming more of a stretch, lower it down a little bit. Yeah. The idea here is just to get that range of motion in there. So make it as accessible as you can, but we don't want to feel a stretch. All right. 3, 4 or 5 on either side. Now, as I say, your ankles are crucial. They're a crucial element of our balance. You know, keeping us steady, keeping us stable, but also if we have to step out, If we, if something's ahead of us and we have to step to the side, the ankle plays a pivotal part in that. Just even walking, think about, that foot pedal we did as far as our circulation booster is concerned. It's that motion of ankle, feet and toes, and that ankle mobility is just emphasizing that. So it's that movement really, isn't it? If you think about it, toes, heel, yeah? Heels, toes, heels, toes, yeah? So there we go. That is our mobilisation for a Wednesday morning. Try and crowbar in some of those. If you've been sat down for a while, at the very start of the day, get yourself up, have a little bit of a circulation booster and away you go. Try and put some of those mobilisations in throughout the day as well. So if you're doing stuff around the house, think about an opportunity to twist through the trunk, to come down and reach down for something, yeah? Think about your ankles. That ankle mobility is something you can do when you're sat down. You have Bex with you at lunchtime today. You have Kelsey with you at 4 o'clock, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m.